We have a brand new Jayden Daniels injury update on today's edition of the Commanders Report. We'll get into that at the top of today's show. Then we'll get into my takeaways after reviewing the entire film from Week 7 with that 40-7 win for the Washington Commanders at home yesterday afternoon. Now, before we get into the content today, if you want to wish Jayden Daniels a speedy and full recovery here after a little bit of a rib issue that he suffered early in yesterday's ball game, spam those fives for me down there in the comments section. You never know who might be watching these videos. Maybe Jayden Daniels watches these videos, maybe not. But if he is, don't waste this opportunity. Let him know you're thinking of him. Put that 5 in the comments section. So let's start with the news here coming from Ian Rappaport. Says Jayden Daniels is officially, quote-unquote, week-to-week per head coach Dan Quinn. And then he said, quote-unquote, we're hopeful he could play this week against the Chicago Bears. So listen, man, when it comes to this situation, first, you have to just thank God that this wasn't anything worse. Hopefully it's not actual like fractured ribs. It doesn't sound like it's that serious. It sounds more like bruising than actual fractures or breaks or anything like that inside Jayden's rib cage. So it does sound like that he got a little bit lucky here, and he's not going to be missing as much time as he potentially could. And also, at least this has nothing to do with the lower body, right? With the guy that uses his running ability as much as Jayden Daniels does, having a big knee injury or a tendon type of issue here that takes him out for a long period of time and potentially hinders his future ability as a rushing threat is certainly something that I think a lot of Commanders fans have PTSD over because of the RG3 situation. So at least it's something up here and something not down there. But with that being said, I think that this definitely points to a valid concern that not only Commanders fans, but just football fans in general had about Jayden Daniels when he was coming out of LSU this past year, was that he is a bit spindly and he doesn't protect himself as well as maybe he could, and he does take some big hits. And even though he had that very dynamic rushing play at the beginning of yesterday's ball game, he took a very awkward hit and he didn't get down. All right, he continued to try to get even more yards, even though he picked up like 50 yards on the run, 40 yards, something along those lines. And being skinny and then taking big hits and not protecting yourself is not a great combo, and that's not a combination that's going to lead to long-term health in the National Football League. So this is certainly a lesson for Jayden Daniels here. It's a good thing here maybe in the long run to kind of teach him this lesson that, yeah, you got to get down here, Jayden. You got to protect your body, especially if you're not going to get much bigger. I think he has filled out his frame a little bit since his time with the LSU Tigers. I think he's done a good job of that here over the last 12 months or so to fill out his frame, but he still has a lot of ways to go before he's anywhere close to a built type of quarterback. So I definitely think hopefully this is a lesson for him so that moving forward he can protect his body a bit more and be a bit more cautious with his health. So let me know down there in the comments section, how concerned are you about Jayden Daniels' ability to protect himself and keep himself healthy throughout his NFL career? We already know how special of a player he is on the field, but let me know on a scale of 1 being not worried whatsoever to 10 being very worried about his health. Let me know for today's pinned comment how concerned you are about his health. So I'm going to be talking about our sponsor today at Prize Picks here in just a second. And when I'm talking about Prize Picks, go down there in the comment section, find that top comment on there. That's the pinned comment, and answer today's question with a 1 through 10 number. Now, with that, let's have word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps on your phone, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. And Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. If you guys sign up today, you guys can get $50 instantly when you just play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Anthony Edwards just needs to score 1 point for that square to win. So let's take a look here at my Prize Picks projection here for Monday Night Football tonight. So I'm going to take the more on Derrick Henry. I'm going to take, in terms of the rushing or just touchdowns overall today, we're going to take the less on Baker Mayfield passing yards going up against that Baltimore Ravens defense. And we're going to take the less on passing yards for Justin Fields going up against the Arizona Cardinals tonight. If you guys want to get in on the fun tonight before Monday Night Football kicks off, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you just play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks. You get $50 instantly when you just play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. So hopefully Jayden Daniels is going to be able to go this week versus the Chicago Bears. Head coach Dan Quinn did mention that he's hopeful that Jayden can come out and play this weekend. And obviously I'd love to see that matchup between Jayden Daniels versus Caleb Williams in this really highly touted matchup that actually got flexed into the afternoon period of games here, because this is a matchup here where there's two very up-and-coming football teams that were drafting very high in the NFL draft, number 1 and number 2, and selected quarterbacks. But if Jayden is not able to go this weekend, it's going to be Marcus Mariota again. Now, Marcus played a very, very good football game versus the Carolina Panthers in relief of Jayden Daniels. It's a little bit of a rocky start, couple of inaccurate passes. He kind of relied on his run game early, but down the stretch of the game, man, really played it really, really well, man. He had like an over 130 passer rating, 18 for 23 passing for 205 yards and 2 tuds. He led a successful 2-minute drill to finish out the first half. And overall, man, he was making throws on the run. He was making good reads. He was throwing it in the middle of the field against relatively tight coverage. However, okay, this Chicago Bears defense is a completely different animal, and this Panthers defense really, really stinks. Okay, you take a look at the numbers comparing these two, and honestly, so that graphics actually turned around there, Coop. Okay, so let's take a look here. You got the Bears, which you can see top 10 in every single category here. And then you got the Carolina Panthers, who are ranking in the bottom portion of every single category that we talk about here on the Commanders Report. So obviously, it's nice to see Marcus Mariota do it against an NFL caliber defense, but the Carolina Panthers are one of the worst, if not the worst defense in the National Football League right now, whereas the Bears are probably a top 5, at the bare minimum, a top 10 defense in the National Football League. So I'm at least a little bit worried as to how Marcus will be able to play going up against this caliber of defense if he's asked to start on Sunday. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for daily Commanders videos right here on YouTube. Also, we get breaking news coverage. So if Adam Peters makes a trade before the trade deadline this year, we're going to have you guys covered with that extensive coverage for free here on the channel. Also, we have a weekly live show every Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time, where you guys have an opportunity to get your questions up on the show. We can talk ball together. Also, we have watch parties just about every single Commanders game day to react to the games together. And, it's been a very fun season to this point. So if you want to join the over 20,000 Commanders fans already subscribed to the channel, we are currently the fastest growing Commanders channel here on the YouTube platform. That's for a reason, guys. To be the next one to sign up right now by clicking that subscribe button for free. Okay, now let's get into my takeaways here after going over the film. I don't really have as many as I do in most weeks here because it was truly a dominating performance. First one I do want to bring up, though, is that the offensive line continues to hold up. Now, you guys know heading into the year, I was very skeptical of this offensive line because previously a lot of these players were either not playing well or, they just hadn't broke out yet. But, I do want to give a big shout out here to Cornelius Lucas specifically. Brandon Coleman went down with a concussion. Cornelius Lucas comes in, and I think he allowed a couple, kind of easy pressures. But overall, he was pretty darn good in pass protection. And then also he moved some people in the run game as well. So Lucas has been very impressive throughout this season. Honestly, I think he's been better than Brandon Coleman on film to start this year. For somebody that's been kind of more of a swing tackle throughout his career, never been really a true starter, I think that he has really surprised me this year with how well he has played. So a tip of the cap to Mr. Cornelius Lucas. Then speaking of people that have been stepping up this year, let's take the defense as a whole here. You guys know that after they lost Jonathan Allen, I was like, man, this defense isn't really ranking that high in terms of NFL standards. They're not playing very good football in general. Now that they lost Jonathan Allen, how are they going to play? Well, guess what, man? They stepped up to the plate in a big way. I do think that they need to add another cornerback. Obviously, I think that Noah Igbenogany, Mike Sainristil, and Benjamin St. Juste just isn't really going to get the job done there. But at the end of the day, I mean, this pass rush was getting going. I thought that the pass coverage was very good as well on the back end from the secondary. Even Emmanuel Forbes got an interception, so good for Emmanuel this week. And then speaking of the pass rush here, Dante Fowler Jr., I think is absolutely legit, man. Like, it's been a couple weeks now where Dante has been affecting the pocket consistently. And, you know, he had multiple pressures yesterday. He had a sack, and he also had a pick six. So this has been a very impactful player for the Washington Commanders, somebody that was kind of slated to be almost like a rotational piece heading into the year. I think has really solidified himself as a mainstay on this defensive front for the rest of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time with Jonathan Allen on IR for the rest of the year. Another player that's really been an impact guy and somebody that I think might end up being an all-pro this year is Frankie Luvu, because every single week this guy's making impact plays, whether as a pass rusher, in pass coverage, in run defense. This guy's flying all over the place, and really he is a weapon that Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn have utilized to a high level of excellence to this point in the season. So I'm loving what I've seen from Frankie Luvu. He's a perfect fit for this scheme because of his versatility, because of the way that he attacks the ball carrier, whoever, whether it's the quarterback or the running back or the receiver he's covering. He's been really, really freaking good, and he's an impact player every single week on defense to this point. And then I want to give a big shout out here to Mike Sainristil, the rookie out of Michigan, who's drafted to be more of a slot defender because of the depth issues at outside corner. He's been asked to play on the outside, and after kind of a rough start to his NFL career, he's starting to pick it up a little bit here. You take a look at his PFF overall grade for this season. It's at a 64.8, which is 50th out of 103 cornerbacks. So he's currently ranking slightly above average when, if you looked at this grade just a couple of weeks ago, he was ranking close to the 100s, okay? So Sainristil has been very, very good over the last several weeks to rise up the ranks here in recent weeks. Then the coverage grade is even better at a 66.5, which is 41st. Out of those same 103 cornerbacks in the National Football League. So, you know, with Emmanuel Forbes kind of struggling at times, Sainristil's really stepped into an outside cornerback role, even though I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that wasn't going to be something that he would do at the NFL level, and he has really stepped up, and this has been a big-time addition for the Washington Commanders secondary. But again, make no mistake, they need to get another corner if they want to be a legit playoff defense as they want to go further on this journey to try and potentially win a playoff game this year, maybe even win multiple playoff games this year. I think you definitely need to upgrade at that position. Noah Igbenogany, I guess, is fine. He's trying his best, but you need to get somebody else out there, man. Plain and simply, Benjamin St-Juste is fine against certain wide receivers. Sainristil is certainly doing his job right now, and I think he's only going to get better as the season goes on. I think the pass rush is okay. The linebackers are doing fine, but you need to get that last corner to really finish this defense here in Washington. So let me know down there in the comments section, will Washington trade for a cornerback this year? Type Y if you think yes, or type N if you think no. For me personally, I definitely hope it's a Y. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. I will see you guys tomorrow for probably a preview of the Commanders' Week 8 matchup versus the Chicago Bears. So I really do appreciate you guys stopping by today. And until tomorrow, go raise some hail.